Kyrie Irving debuted his Anta Kai ones last year and it made a pretty big splash in the basketball sneaker world. This year he's coming out with a sequel to the Kai ones with the same bold creativity and design language. Anta Kai 2 Artist on Court. Now the shoe dropped on February 28th for $140 in the United States. It's been quite a while since this shoe released, but I wanted to give some good playing time in this shoe, and also I just am running out of time and couldn't get to this shoe. But of course this is a follow-up to the very nicely and well-received Anta Kai 1, a very bold shoe, his debut with Anta after he left Nike, and first impressions of the Kai 2. In terms of the shape and silhouette of this shoe, I don't like it as much as the Kai 1s. I think the Kai 1s look pretty sleek. It was a very nice looking basketball shoe. I think this heel design here, what actually Anta calls its gate heel design, I just think it feels a little too boxy, or it looks a little too boxy, so it's just personal preference. But the colors of this shoe, it is very true to Kyrie Irving's nature, very bold, a lot of Native American symbolism and inspiration. Remember, he is part Native American from his mother's side, and I like it. It is exactly what you would expect from Kyrie Irving. It is like a sequel to the Kai 1 Artist on Court, so it's got this purple, bluish, pink type of inspiration carried through. Yeah, I really like it. Usually like off-court, casual shoes, I prefer like subtle, simple designs, but on court, let it all out. And the materials on the shoe, there is a few things going on. So there's actually leather on the base layer, so that's a pretty nice touch. You don't see that a ton in modern day basketball shoes. A lot of times they'll use synthetic materials to like reduce the weight, and it's just better for performance. But the base layer, it does have actual leather. There is synthetic nubuck like around the mudguard. That is probably more for like durability purposes. And then of course all over the shoe you see these very distinct and out there bold designs. Those are all like embroidered onto the shoe. So even the purple around the eye stays, this kind of zigzag pattern that is like stitched on the shoe. So yeah, the materials on the shoe, especially for a basketball shoe in 2025, does feel pretty elevated. And then moving on to the booty of the shoe, again, a lot of patterns here. It's all stitched as well, feels nice and elevated. You get the Kyrie Irving logo at the very top. That is like its own piece. And then these very funky symbols that actually says Kai, K-A-I. Now inside the booty tab, there's more storytelling there. And on the right shoe, it says hungry. And on the left shoe, it says humble. And then right at the top, number 11, that is Kyrie Irving's number. And then moving up the tongue, of course, very, very unique. But you'll see there's like a double lacing system here. So out of the box, on the base, you get these like very thick, very colorful laces. And you also get this like kind of fluffy, very out there, very bold laces that you can loop through the extra set of eyelets there. Very, very unique look. I would not wear that, and I definitely won't wear that like off the court. But if you really want to like stand out, that's an option for you. Now on the lace tips, more storytelling. It says Kai, Hella. That is the Native American Lakota name given to Kyrie Irving. And you'll see around the laces, you get this kind of TPU rubber material. There's a lot of symbols kind of subtly printed on that too. That adds to the stability and kind of the support of that area of the shoe. And then all the way at the very top of the tongue, you see Kyrie Irving's logo. Now inside the tongue, on the left shoe, it says Elizabeth. That is Kyrie Irving's mom's name. And on the right shoe, I can't quite make out who that is, but it's probably like family related, someone he's related to. Now on the heel of the shoe, you see this little cutout that is inspired by oil paintings, apparently, according to Anta.com. And the little splatters across, that is a reference to handcrafted artistry. Again, all according to Anta.com, I'm not making this up. And on toe box area, that is inspired by Fauves brush strokes. Now I don't have any clue what that really means, but I'm just giving you the information. I am not an art person, so there it is. And on the toe box, just like the booty, you'll see K-A-I, Kai spelled out. Now moving on to the cushioning of the Kai 2s, it comes with Anta's Nitro Edge foam. Now that is essentially a nitrogen induced foam, and the cushioning on this, it is very balanced. Similar to the Kai 1s, where I felt like it wasn't too soft, wasn't like super plush. So it was kind of a good mix between like the stiffness of the cushioning as well as a certain amount of bounciness. I definitely did feel like it was more ready to go like out of the box. For the Kai ones, I had to kind of wear and break the shoe in a bit to really feel that type of responsiveness in the cushioning. So that's one kind of bonus here. Now in terms of the core feel, I felt like it took a while to really get that more low profile feeling, but immediately after changing from this shoe to like the Sabrina 2s, I felt like that shoe really kind of sat closer to the ground compared to the AE ones as well. Those felt like just lower to the ground. I kind of prefer that a bit more, not super low, but yeah, it felt lower than the Kai 2s. This, I feel like compared to the Kai 1s, is lower. So if you like that low core profile feeling and you're choosing between the 1s and 2s, I think this sits lower, but there are definitely other shoes that give you even more of a low profile feeling. Now in terms of the traction, this comes with a rubber outsole, of course. Again, very, very funky, and right in the middle, you'll see the phrase, "I am my own muse, the descendant of the Lakota nation." And then on the left side, you get this little love heart. Again, it spells out K-A-I as well. And this pattern right across the forefoot, I believe that is like Native American art that they use to like carve into stones and walls. I believe that's what it is. Again, not too much information there. And on the medial side here from the outsole, you'll see Kyrie, and then these 4 symbols that appeared on the Kai ones, and that is meant to reference or represent, if I remember, I'm going to correct it if I get this wrong, but off the top of my head, speed, agility, power. I'll correct it here, but I'm just going off the top of my head. And traction wise, that is something that I really, really prioritize. If a shoe doesn't have good traction, I basically don't play ball in them. And I'm glad to say the Kai 2s, I think it's definitely upgraded from a traction point of view compared to the Kai ones. It was very good out of the box, didn't have too much like wear and time. The B-roll that I shot for this is like a decently maintained gym. It's not like the cleanest, definitely better gyms out there. So if a shoe doesn't offer like superb elite traction, I can definitely feel it. But I felt like this shoe, this is the biggest like noticeable improvement for me from the Kai ones. Now, if you wanted to play ball in these outdoors, the traction like depth, it's not like super deep. So you might wear it out pretty quickly. I still wouldn't. You probably get a ton of rocks like stuck in between some of these grooves. And the insole shoe actually offers some ventilation with these holes that go right through. Very bold designs, as you would expect. And the box of the shoe, you got this kind of wood grain texture to it. Love how that looks. It is a pull-out box, and inside you get this bag, a very funky design on the front. There's no your power. The journey is the reward. Kyrie Irving, I am my own muse. March 23rd, 1992. That is obviously his birthday. Chief Hella, that is the name given to him by the Lakota tribe, which stands for Little Giant. Yeah, love the storytelling. Now, in terms of sizing, fit, and support, I am a wide and flat footer. For these, I just went true to size. Now, one thing I didn't really love in terms of the Kai one, at least out of the box, it did feel pretty tight around the forefoot area, and I was never really able to break it in fully where I felt like this is perfect, like perfect sizing. But this shoe though, I felt like it's a bit wider in the forefoot especially, and just out of the box, there was no issues. I felt like it fit my feet pretty well, so if you have wide and flat feet, you can definitely go true to size for these. There was no heel slippage. There's a lot of padding in the heel here, which is really nice. And the forefoot, definitely no pain at all. Even the arch area, didn't feel any pain, even though I do have flat feet. Now, support-wise, there is a midfoot plate in the Kai 2s, so that gives the shoe more rigidity. There's a very solid heel counter on this shoe as well. If you're like a tank, definitely get a second opinion, but side-to-side lateral movement, the upper materials definitely kept my feet locked in place. And one thing that you'll see is the TPU that is behind like the extension of the outsole here on the lateral side. That gives the shoe a lot more stability as well. Now in terms of just comfort, like walking around in these casually, I think it's a decently comfortable shoe. Again, not like super plush cushioning, but if you definitely want to wear these casually, you can definitely do so. It is a decently comfortable shoe, especially around your feet. There's a lot of padding all around the heel as well as inside the shoe. Yeah, this is one of those shoes I think Anta.com actually specifies. If you want to wear it casually, you can. Now, it is definitely not like the lightest shoe that you can pick up in 2025. I think the genuine leather on the shoe adds a little bit of weight. So there are definitely basketball shoes that are made to be like the lightest. That is like its selling point. This isn't exactly that, but as someone that grew up when LeBron 4s were coming out as basketball shoes, this is light enough. I definitely have no problems with the weight of this shoe. Now, usually for a casual retro shoe, I give it a sole score. Basketball sneakers, I do not. The sole score doesn't really make sense, but I do have a final verdict of this shoe, and how I'll explain it is I'll compare it to the Sabrina 2s. That's kind of my golden standard for basketball shoes now. Cushioning wise, I think I prefer the Sabrinas. It is just slightly more plush, slightly more bouncy, especially at this age. I do like a more softer type of feel, not too soft, where I feel like my feet kind of get stuck and there's an extra lag time when I'm pushing off, but I do like more of a plush type of cushioning. This one is a bit more balanced, a bit more firm. You definitely feel it. Like I played in the Kai 2s the other day, right after about an hour, played in the Sabrina 2s. You definitely feel the difference. And I also prefer the Sabrina 2s in terms of kind of the low profile nature of it. The Sabrina 2s just felt slightly closer to the ground. Now, traction wise, I think this is definitely an upgrade from the Kai 1s, and compared to the Sabrina 2s, yeah, they're both pretty good. There's no complaints for either shoe. Now, in terms of overall support, I think this shoe actually offers slightly better support, especially on this heel area. Sometimes the way I run, because I have flat feet, it can be pretty heavy on the heel. I do feel like the heel counter here and the materials on this area of my feet when I'm like really jumping or exploding felt like a bit more supported for the Kai 2s instead of the Sabrina 2s. So there's pros and cons to both, but comparing to the Kai 1s, there is definitely, for me, a noticeable improvement. So that's it. Thanks for watching Sole Inclined. Let me know what you think of the Anta Kai 2 Artist on Court. Like, subscribe, comment, all the good stuff. And remember, tomorrow may never come, so wear your shoes.